Thank you, Tom. Well, it's once again a huge pleasure to be able to join you for the Whitley Fund's annual awards. They seem to come around a bit quicker, I have to say now, but maybe that's purely my imagination. But as always, an inspiring evening and a very informative evening. And as you've heard from our Whitley Gold Award winner just now, winning a Whitley Award is just the beginning. And we would like to be able to make sure that we make those continuation fundings even more often and to more people. And because, in fact, overall, about half of all Whitley Award winners do go on to apply for continuation funding, which will enable them to invest in long-term projects that have an even greater measurable impact both on the endangered wildlife and, of course, on the local communities. That requires a little bit more investment on our behalf, of course. But by offering those continuation funding to most successful past winners, we also build up what we believe is a really important group of people that have long-term relationships with the winners, and we're making, and you can pass that on in a way that we perhaps couldn't do before. The winners will pass it on amongst their own networks, and we can pass it on a broader network. And Whitley Fund, in that sense, doesn't just plant the seed. We do pay attention to the watering and its continued care. And you've heard some of that from Edward and how they've evolved the process to make it more secure support for those that they identify as worthy winners. And as we approach the 25th anniversary next year, we would like to be able to increase the continuation funding. And this year's fundraising target is for £700,000 to support what is rather an oversubscribed continuation funding programme. But as you've also noticed, that by being a very small and very efficient organisation, this is direct funding charity that really does minimise the bits in between. This goes straight to those winners. These inspiring stories, they're always different, aren't they? They always highlight a different skill and a different determination, different level of commitment, and different networks and imagination in terms of how you engage people. But they also join a network of 185 Whitley alumni, and they all striving to protect the planet's ecosystems and the communities that live within them. And that is, I think, is something that you can all take away from here as being supporters of that, is that number increases year on year and projects a much more proactive and successful story of conservation than we so often hear. I hope as you know, I occasionally get the opportunity to see some of our winners actually in the field and in their own countries. And I'm hoping to catch up with the work of a previous associate winner in China in early July in the Yangtze River program for the finless porpoise. Now that's an added bonus for me if I can actually get to meet people where they are working, because that underlines the skills that they've developed and the extraordinary commitment to get their projects to the level that they have. As Tom mentioned, this is an event which really does underline the conservation is happening. It is, on the whole, a slow process, although I have to say that our winners' progress in a mere 4 years is astonishing, which I hope will encourage others. But it is too often we see only the negatives. But maybe that's why tonight is such an encouragement, is those positive stories. And I'm sorry to say that sometimes fundraising is geared around the negatives, not the positives. And this tonight is very much about the fundraising on the evidence of success. These positive messages are an encouragement tonight, and I hope you will take them away and spread them wherever you're going, because they can make a real difference. They make a difference to people's lives and to the wildlife. They make the point that together you can achieve all sorts of things. I would add that I think that knowledge is just as relevant to us here in the United Kingdom as it is anywhere else, as we still have pockets where that kind of knowledge and imagination is needed. So an added thanks to our winners for making us stop and think about how we can look after our wildlife a bit better. I've noticed too that, and this is again the accumulation of experience and knowledge, that our continuation funding recipients frequently go on to become some of the most influential conservationists in their field, in their countries and in their regions, that have lasting impacts on the grassroots and the political level. That's not an easy trick. And maybe the answer is starting where they do learn how to make that joined up approach really work. We know that their projects have worked successfully. We know that it's made a huge impact for conservation, and it's something that we can be optimistic about. I would, on that basis, finally like to thank all of you who have been donors, some for very long-term donors. That, I have to say, is not critical. You can be new donors anytime you like. Preferably tonight. No, that's not true to say. But it is, I hope that you all feel sufficiently encouraged by what you've seen and heard. That being supporters in the future is very much in your minds. Because I hope you also recognise that there are a number of award winners here, but there could be more, there should be more, and we should be able to build on their knowledge and keep that group together to continue to make the most remarkable positive impact on people's lives as well as on wildlife. And we want to remain an important partner to them in their future. And Whitley Awards offers that opportunity, but we need partners here to allow us to do that. So thank you all for joining us tonight. As I say, I'm certainly once again inspired and encouraged by what we've heard and seen. And may I offer my thanks and congratulations to our winners, not just for what they've done for their projects, but for standing up in front of us tonight. Thank you.